Hello, this is Nancy Hines Glazer with Meet the Artist here at SOMAtv, and today I'm especially excited because I have two guys I know and two guys I love in the studio, and we're here to talk about the South Orange International Blues Festival. Right, guys? I have Michael Grillo and Joel Levin, both South Orange guys, right?
Absolutely. Right.
And we're here because you're doing it again this year. It's your third year.
Yep, year number 3.
And I remember talking to you, Michael, back when you were first thinking of doing it, wanted to do it, met you through a friend of a friend, and the dream came true. And I want you to give us a little bit of history about how it got started, why you started it, and what's happening now. So would you start us out with a story? Appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me. The festival initially was a reflection on my own travels. I was a touring pro, and at that particular time, I was traveling a lot in Europe and doing a lot of great festivals all over the world.
They have many. They have many blues and jazz. They're
Beautiful,
just crazy for our music.
Beautiful, beautiful festivals, glorious locations, very cute. So in between one of these tours, I was sitting at Starbucks downtown South Orange and having a latte, and I looked up and I realized on this beautiful day that this actually looks like some of the locations that I've played in. And then the idea came, why not have a festival here in South Orange? So, I love the town, raised my family in South Orange.
Kids went to school here,
Kids went
right?
to school here.
Yep.
And I proceeded to try to make this a reality and recruited some like-minded, visionary individuals, all from town. And that process, just in its inception, took about 4 years of development before we actually got to the point where we had a viable festival. During that time, the festival was going to be located actually in Lot 9. It started out as a Lot 9 sort of thing.
The parking lot across from Starbucks.
Right,
Right.
exactly. So
Right.
my initial vision was to block off everywhere downtown and have it in that particular area.
In the parking lot, right? And just because it was a wide open space and
Yeah.
it could be controlled and contained.
And
too,
actually,
right?
my initial idea assumed that the vendor participation and the retail participation was vital to the festival's success. So I marched ahead with that. And by the time I got to talk to the leadership, it became more of a logistic conversation. And then we realized that a change of venue might be a smart thing to consider. So then we moved to Floods Hill. That seemed to be amenable to everyone. And of course, it's a big, wide open space, and there have been events there before, so there wasn't necessarily any bureaucratic pushback to having something.
Right, no mystery there. It already happened. Years and years Arts in the Park,
But
right?
we did receive approval from all the town fathers and the police department and the fire department to close off Sloane Street and use it. So they were behind us with the concept of having a blues festival in town and bringing people downtown.
Right, that was part of it
In the end,
as well.
In the
Sure.
end, we were a victim of our own success in that I think we scared them off. They didn't want 5,000 people to be on Sloane Street. They'd rather have 5,000 people on Floods Hill.
In the park.
Right, which is easy. They had done it before.
Yeah, right, exactly. It wasn't a new concept at all. So you went there, and that was what year? It's our third.
The first year was 2010.
Okay.
There were a couple of faux launches before then. We targeted 2008, I believe, initially.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, but we actually had some of your guys played for Newcomers Day.
Yes.
Just a few, because,
Right.
but it
Right.
was leading up to that, and
Yeah.
we were all just delighted to have you because we knew
the
your
good
true
news
value.
Is, and the good news is, since I'm always either performing or arranging performances, there was some a branded representation of the festival and the product even before there was an actual festival. So we had at least some critical mass in terms of an affection for the music, and of course everybody thought it was a great idea. And I must say that even despite some of the hurdles, it's always been a great idea to everyone concerned. So I think that helped a lot, because when we finally got the approvals to do it in 2010, it was a type of event that probably had found its own time. People would stop me in the street and say, "Oh, we're having a blues festival in town. What a great idea!" And we were all very excited. We had a crew of about, what would you say, about a dozen volunteers in every capacity, from volunteer management to logistics. Had an engineer on board, all sorts of professionals and quasi-professionals who really just wanted to see this happen. And we worked pretty much around the clock for the final 2 months before the first festival, and got all the approvals from the town. We were self-financed at that point. So there was a considerable investment made by certain individuals, including myself. And we got to the day, and there was a buzz, and everyone was excited. And then we put out parking signs the night before, stayed up till 4 in the morning putting out parking signs, covered the town. And then at 6 a.m. it started to rain.
I remember.
And it rained, and it rained.
All day.
It was a real record.
Torrential at times. It wasn't just a little rain.
It rained all day.
Yeah.
And we had 3 performance locations, 2 stages, probably about 50 people total in terms of between volunteers and staff, 10 acts, and it rained, and it
and
rained.
rain some more.
So initially, I was a little devastated.
Sure.
I didn't blame the gods.
But there were crowds. I drove by. I
Well-
didn't hang out in the rain, but I did stop by, and there were crowds just the same, which had to say something to
Well,
me.
here's the fascinating part. I remember one particular moment in the day, and I'm in the production truck by myself, and it's been raining for about 6 hours, and people are under umbrellas, and I'm literally holding my head like this, stressed out. And then someone knocked on the truck and said, "People are leaving and coming back, and they're coming back with raincoats and tents, and some people are just really out there uncovered dancing in the rain." What essentially happened was we had a mini Woodstock experience, and people talked about it with a certain folklore about what had happened. For example, were you at the festival in the rain?
Yeah.
And I was out there and I got soaked all day, but it was great. And this got back to the county executive, Joey DiVincenzo. And through Joanna Wright, who's one of my favorite people in the world,
Mine too.
she put us together, and basically the county executive said, "I heard about what you did. You essentially had a 16-hour production day in the rain with multiple stages, and people said it was the best festival they'd ever been to." Now, I think that's a bit of an overstatement, but I'm not going to argue. Long story short, we found ourselves talking to the county, and now it's a county-sponsored event.
And this year is September 9th, and it's at which part of the park? Because that's always hard. When you're looking in Essex
Right.
County Park,
Right.
we got here, we got there, Mayapple Hill, you've got, so which location? Is it a specific location?
This is in South Mountain Reservation, and most of you know that South Mountain has multiple locations, but particularly Cherry Lane, which is located near McClune's Boathouse, across from the reservoir, in that wide open space that used to be the archery field, I believe, where it's still used for archery. It's over there. And just let me clear something up for the listeners today. The festival moved because Joey DiVincenzo presides over the county parks. So in order for him to be involved, it had to be in a county park. Floods Hill, unfortunately, is not a county park.
Yeah, it's private.
So they couldn't lend their support in a venue that wasn't an actual county park. So there was no bad blood with South Orange.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't
and I've
think
heard chatter.
so.
I've heard chatter like that, but it's totally not true
Okay.
at all.
I don't think so either, and I think, well, actually, it's just a testament to the strength of the music. And you got involved from the get-go, right, Joel? You started doing some of the...
I met Mike
PR.
during one of his lattes at the late lamented Dancing Goat.
Dancing Goat.
Later on
Yes,
the
we
Goat
miss you,
Cafe.
Dan.
Hey, Denise.
And Denise
And Denise.
Denise introduced us. Said, "You're
Yeah.
going to like Mike."
Ah.
And we talked about the fact that I do marketing and he's a musician, and I've been following music. It's been driving me all my life. And Mike said, "I want to talk to you about something." So we sat down and had this very serious talk that he wants to put on a blues festival and not charge for it, and keep it in South Orange, and have it totally financed by us and by sponsors. And it sounded good enough. And I'd never thought it would stretch to 3 or 4 years of concepting and lobbying in a nice way, talking to the officials, all whose support we got. That's how it started, and we gathered together a double handful of really strong people, and we had lots of fun board meetings, and it worked.
Absolutely. And well, I mean, it's a testament to the power of music, the power of art. Nothing can stop it. I mean, frankly, if you've got committed people, nothing can stop it. And so you went along for the ride, and you're still enjoying it. It's hard work, right?
Speaking of commitment,
Yes.
notice it's still the South Orange International Blues Festival, no matter where it is. Instead, it's in West Orange. We have a peaceful, non-defended border between the two towns, and
there's no military between
No
West Orange and
no
South
whatsoever.
and we're
No
all friendly.
checkpoints.
Right.
We're all friendly with each
Right.
other,
Right.
and forever it will be called the South Orange International Blues Festival, no matter where it is. And that's a
Absolutely.
testament to Mike's original inspiration, which is to honor the town where he brought up his family.
Absolutely.
That is so amazing. So you envision this going on for some time to come,
Absolutely.
in perpetuity. We hope, right?
In perpetuity. Hopefully it'll outlast even me.
Well,
Yeah.
you're still young yet. Don't worry. But anyway, I'm interested because I've known Joel, I don't know. I don't even know how to say this half the time because it's been quite a few years.
Okay.
At least 10, 12, I don't
Yes,
know.
at least.
But anyway, you know, and you started out also doing some work on food. I think that's how I knew you originally. Then I started seeing all these other sides to you. And that goes to the whole persons we have in both South Orange and Maplewood. Creative side, energy, commitment to give back, staunch supporters on a personal level to their town. And, you know, so it doesn't matter for you what it is. You're still there. It's food, it's music, it's all the cool stuff. We're going to go out for a break, and then we'll come back and talk some more about this year's festival and who's in it and all the excitement that happened last year, because I was there taking photographs, and we had fun. But I want to thank you for coming on, and when we go out for a break, we'll chat a little bit more. We'll share it all with you when we come back, and make sure you don't turn that dial. Come back and hear about Michael Griot's vision for the South Orange International Blues Festival with Joel Levin, a PR guy, and it's now in Essex County. So don't turn that dial. See you in a minute.
I'd like to drop out of high school and get a meaningless job that makes me feel bad about myself.
I'd like to fall victim to the old boys network.
I want to be a straight C student. I'm going to be a biomedical engineer. I mean, I want to succumb to peer pressure all of my life. I'm going to be a best-selling author. Wait, I take mine back. I'm going to be a biomedical engineer.
I'm gonna be a marine biologist.
Olympian. I'm going to be the boss.
And welcome back, Nancy Hines Glazer here on SOMAtv. And the program is Build This Community Corner, but we're still talking art. And I'm with Michael Griot and Joel Levin talking about South Orange International Blues Festival #3, Never to End. So this year you have some cool people lined up. I know you had the gentleman Papa Chubby, who my friend from New York said, oh, he's famous. So, I mean, you have some
Yeah.
headliners, even if people aren't into blues per se or
Sure.
don't know it. Who do you have lined up for this year?
Well, there are a couple of acts returning from last year. Last year we had a great performer named Sharon Crenshaw, who really captivated the audience. He does soulful sort of blues. He's coming back. We also have a couple of people who are very active in South Orange in the area. Al Gold, who a lot of you know, performs all the time at Hat City and has a Sunday Blues Jam. He'll be bringing his group through. Dean Schott, who also is a local performer and plays at the Robin's Nest and various places in the area, he'll be performing as well. Got a couple of new people coming in. A wonderful singer named Rosalind McClure, and she does basically a Nina Simone-ish sort of tribute in a blues vein, which is spectacular. I also have Dave Keys, who is a singer and piano player, and he has a stride piano sort of style. So if you're into boogie woogie and stride, he's your guy. Teaming up with Dave Keys, sometimes what I'll do is, I had 75 submissions this year for the festival that I had to kind of...
Another testament to
it
the
was
success.
Insane.
That's great.
But I did have a couple of personal favorites I wanted to showcase. Great guitar player Bob DeVoe, also from this area, but very well-known jazz guitarist. I've actually smashed Bob and Dave together to do a duet at the beginning of the show.
That's exciting.
And-
Sure, Bob's well known.
Yeah, and they've never played together.
Oh,
and
this is
so
exciting.
this should be very, very good. And then later on in the day, we start to move towards the headliner, and I'm very happy to announce that not only is my band, Michael Hill's Blues Mob, which is a staple of the festival, coming back, but the headliner is performing with us, and his name is Vernon Reed, and he played with a Grammy Award-winning band called Living Color that some of you may remember.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Vernon is a ridiculous guitar player. Just, I mean, amongst us pro musicians, you have guys which you just kind of shake your head and
Absolutely. Musician's musician. So
go.
that's him.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So Vernon is headlining with the Blues Mob. And then after the Blues Mob, we have a young lady who's actually up and coming in the blues scene. Her name is Eliza Niels, and she's out of Detroit. And she has a sort of a R&B roots blues offering that she's bringing. So it should be just a really exciting day. Really excited.
It starts when and ends when?
11 in the morning till 8 at night.
And you have some food vendors there, so
Absolutely.
people can nosh all day if they
Some
want.
food vendors.
Yeah. We should also mention, we were talking about this earlier, that we are looking to expand our vendor base, and we really are encouraging South Orange vendors to get involved. And to that end, any South Orange vendors, we are giving you the best price of all the vendors. So if you're a South Orange business, food or crafts, then you should go to southorangebluesfestival.com, and you can actually click a link, and there's an interactive link that'll give you the application for the festival. And we really encourage that to happen sooner than later. August 1st is our cutoff. But you'll get a great price, and we're expecting about 2,500 people this year. So.
And I know that because also the sort of thing that sometimes it takes time to build.
Absolutely.
You're there. I mean, I was there last year, so I saw the difference, and I know it was not rain, it was beautiful.
Yeah, great weather.
And people come prepared for weather. We just have to have it, you know. We're not the perfect weather place in the
We
world,
want
but
a nice overcast day.
okay, well, let's
Because
see what we
if
can
it rains,
do.
it keeps them away. If it's too sunny, they'll be at the shore, even though it's the first weekend in September, second weekend in September. Back to vendors, food vendors, candle vendors, shea butter, the traditional ones, sweatshirts, T-shirts,
For
caps.
festivals,
caps.
festival vendors.
And last year we had many different choices of foods, from the usual Italian specialties, the corn on the cob, and Asian, many.
Like
And
fusion,
there's
Asian
room,
fusion.
There's room for more.
All right, so and we hope we get this out there in lots
no
of
one goes
time.
away
so people
hungry.
don't hype. I know, and certainly they don't go away hungry in their soul, because I was really, I was very excited. I didn't get to stay the whole day. That was my thing. So I would encourage everyone out there not to make a lot of plans, because then you'll be upset when you have to leave. But the other thing is it's relaxed, it's free, it's
free.
kind of fun, it's a nice space. The music is
Plenty
great.
of parking.
Plenty of parking,
The
which
Sheriff's
is
Department
huge.
does a great job. There's actually a dedicated field that's supervised by the Sheriff's Department for all the parking. The parking is free. So the event is free, the parking is free.
And for your viewing pleasure and listening pleasure. What I was having fun doing is taking photographs of the people I know, and there were quite a few last year. And just everybody was happy. I didn't see one frown. So that's how I see things. It's through the camera lens.
It's a family-oriented
Yeah, a
event.
lot
That's
of kids.
true.
A lot of kids.
That's
You
true.
come as you are, you stay as long as you want. You can even go home if you don't want to. If you have better leftovers than the vendors are serving, go home and come back in an hour. But people have done that. They'll spend 8 hours a day there.
Well, what do they do with their car? Well, that's right. You got plenty of parking,
Right.
not to
And
worry.
it's supervised by police who know how to stack cars up.
That's
in
true.
nice-
No, I
nice
did. I
lines.
also appreciated that, because that was easy in, easy out, and I didn't have any problem. And what are you thinking this year? Will it be a different take? Will it be, well, you've already brought in some people. You're getting some Detroit. You're getting new. You have some long-termers.
Yeah,
So
I actually think that the difference may be in how far people come forward. Because last year we saw some people who came from Pennsylvania and the Pocono area, and I got a couple of calls this week inquiring about camping. I still have to talk to the county executive about that possibility, but that gives you an idea that people are coming planning to stay. and planning to enjoy not only the festival, but I guess the surrounding area and the
You got
accoutrements.
Turtleback Zoo.
Absolutely.
You got the arena.
That's right.
I mean, there's 8 million and a McDonald's nearby. I mean,
right.
you know, on their way in for breakfast only.
Okay.
They're not going to compete with your food, but there's so much. Now, McLuhan's wasn't there last year, if I recall.
As a matter of fact,
right?
it was about a month away from launch when we did our festival. So we actually are going to be talking, hopefully, to McLuhan's fairly soon about some sort of cooperation.
Promotional package.
Yeah.
They have goofy golf, you know, miniature
Yeah,
golf, as they
right.
call. So really, I think that, and why I think it's so interesting having it there, and I'm so happy you're still keeping the name of South Orange, but this area has really worked hard to reestablish itself as a destination in general, both South Orange and Maplewood as well, but Essex County. And trying to make the most of one of our greatest assets, which is our land and the park and the reservation and the beauty and the nature. And so you really start to get the picture. When the Blues Festival was there, I started saying, oh, I get the picture. You know, there's going to have this, and we're going to have that. And when you're paying high county taxes, it's not always easy to see it until you get the picture. And the Blues Festival is definitely, I don't know what the term is, not linchpin, but certainly it's going to be pivotal in the summer going forward. I just see it. It's pretty clear. And would you tell everybody to keep doing this kind of thing? I mean, now that you broke through the difficult couple of years preparation, breaking through the red tape, convincing people there wasn't going to be some sort of riot of some kind. You've done all that. Would you encourage people who have a vision to do this kind of festival to do it, or
I would.
give them words of wisdom to not do it? Or
Well, yeah, it's funny because I actually have had people from other adjacent counties call me as a consultant with the same sort of thing in mind for, let's say, Bergen County or Union County. And what I'll say is and this is not mean-spirited, but no good deed goes unpunished. You must prepare yourself, although you think it's a great idea, to deal with all of the required bureaucracy that comes with spearheading a project like this. But believing in the good in people and knowing that eventually every great idea finds its home if you stick to it, that would probably be the only comment I would have. And it all starts with a personal belief. And I always wanted this to be something that the village could be proud of. Hopefully I've done that, and hopefully it'll continue to gain the kind of support that I intended, which is basically an organic, people-friendly festival that represents an organic, people-friendly town, which is South Orange.
And, you know, South Orange and Maplewood are just loaded with incredible people and ideas and creativity. And, you know, Maple Woodstock's been around. They do it every year, and they've had a few years.
I actually performed on Maple Woodstock this year.
Did you really?
Yeah,
You mean
yeah.
I missed it? Okay.
Yeah, well,
Sunday at 3:30.
Well, see, that's part of my personal commitment to support the arts. I mean, Maple Woodstock and the Blues Festival do not compete.
Not at all.
Not
I mean,
at all.
they're
So I was actually.
but you can have
yeah.
some of the same people, but
Yeah.
they're not the
I
same
hung out.
event.
I performed with one of the acts and had a great time. So I would encourage anyone who went to Maple Woodstock, hey, part 2 of a great time.
So, exactly. It didn't have to end with them.
And people
You can have it
who
fun.
don't know what blues means, everybody loves the blues. They just don't realize they're listening to it.
I'm an old B.B. King fan. You know, I'm an old person. I graduated college many years ago, and we were really into the blues at that time. In the Midwest, though, that was Wisconsin, so you had Detroit, you had all, that whole center part of the country.
Detroit, Kansas City, there are different flavors of blues everywhere.
Exactly. Like barbecue sauce.
Blues music is over 100 years old.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
And not everybody is called Howlin' Wolf or Muddy Waters. They don't have to have colorful names except Papa Chubby.
Except Papa Chubby,
Right.
who's internationally known as well as our
absolutely
But
right.
people don't realize the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin,
Clapton.
of course Clapton, Elvis, Chuck Berry, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds
It's all
of rock
blues, it's all
acts
blues.
would be nowhere without the blues.
Well, and that's true, and they do covers of the music all the time, and so you know it means something. You know it's gotten them somewhere.
The blues is America's classical music.
But okay, that's good to know. And I want to thank you guys, because without your having the vision and determination and passion, we wouldn't have the blues. My favorite T-shirt in the world: no black, no white, just the blues. Tom Sclera, I understand, designed it.
No, he
And
designed
here's-
this T-shirt.
And who
that
did?
T-shirt.
He
Tom-
did this
Tom
one?
designed the logo.
He didn't know black, no white, just the blues. Who
I don't
did that
think
one?
he did.
Well,
So-
whoever
someone
did
else
it, we
did.
love it. Anyway, we want to thank you also because you continue to jazz us up and get excited about the possibility instead of what isn't possible. And, you know, I think sometimes it gets pretty frustrating if things are tough financially. You get the real blues. So what you do by bringing us the blues is lift
Thank you.
us out of it. Want to thank you so much for joining us. Want to thank you for joining us in the audience on this Community Corner / Meet the Artist with South Orange International Blues Festival. Mike Rio, Joe Levin. Be there or be square.
There's room for 7,000 people.
And there's room for 7,000. Be one of them. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
At least
We'll just get a